On the reigning Super Bowl champs, the Kansas City Chiefs. We're just 3 days away from this game. We'll be getting you ready for all of it here on ESPN, and there are some beautiful beaches in this area. In fact, we're on a beach right now. You'll see us in seconds. If you don't believe me, you're about to find out. That's actually the back of our set, and that hammock is where one Marcus Spears will be going immediately following this show. He's just going to kick those helmets out of there and put those feet up. Welcome to NFL Live, everybody. We are so happy to be with you here at St. Pete Beach, about 45 minutes away from Tampa and where this game will be played. Marcus Spears, Mina Kimes, and Dan Orlovsky. Hi, you guys. It's good to see you.
What's up?
Hey, listen,
we're here.
Listen, man, we on the beach.
We're here.
Okay? Everybody calm down. For everybody at home, we've been sitting in little small offices staring into a little bitty camera, and now we got freedom.
Let's go.
Let's rip.
Are you really going to go on that hammock?
Yeah, for sure.
He is.
Well,
pray for the hammock. Whether he was...
There you go. There you go. I told you earlier today you were going to do it early. That's one. I'm counting them, too.
Mina 1, Marcus 0.
Okay.
Let's start with our team reports brought to you by Discover. And for that, we go to Sal Palantonio, who's been with the Buccaneers all week long, and Diana Rossini, who's covered the Chiefs all week long. We'll start with you, Sal, as the Bucs are still dealing with a lot of injuries just 3 days away from this game. What more can you tell us?
Oh, they had fun at practice today, Laura. Look at this beautiful blue sky, 70 degrees here in Tampa. I'm a little ways from the practice facility, and they were all running around, including the injured players for the Tampa Bay Bucs. I'm told they had a very energetic and spirited practice, and that Bruce Arians was very encouraged by his players who are on the injury list. Start with Antonio Brown. Wants to play in this game with Tom Brady in Super Bowl 55. That's why he came to Tampa, coming back from that knee injury. Looked good today. Jordan Whitehead and his dynamic duo partner, Antoine Winfield Jr., also looked very good, as did Levante David. But you know what? I'll stop talking and let Bruce Arians say it all.
Yeah, they all worked today and look good. Now it's just a matter of do they swell tomorrow, and we'll monitor that in the training room. But they were active today and ran around pretty good.
One little note about Jordan Whitehead, the safety who's got that shoulder issue. He still was wearing the black no-contact jersey today, wore it yesterday and today. We won't believe that he's actually going to play in this game on Sunday until he takes that jersey off and has got a full go for practice. Now, for a report on the Chiefs, here is Diana Rossini. Hey, Diana.
Hi, Sal. Isn't it nice that our friends brought the sun to Florida with them? It's nice to have all you guys with us. Unfortunately, though, for the Kansas City Chiefs, they were dealing with snow today, so practice got moved indoors. But they were pumping heat through the vents because Andy Reid is trying to give his team that feeling of this Tampa Bay area, which we know should be pretty warm on Sunday. Now, I talked to Travis Kelce about it all, and he said this is the most prepared and best they have felt about a game the entire time he's been a Chief. I followed up and asked him how much of this has to do with Andy Reid's ability to prepare really well. We know he's got the best record in the NFL as a head coach when he's got 2 weeks to prepare. Here's what Travis had to say.
I think what he does the best of as a leader, as a coach, is he challenges the guys to meet expectations. We've had the full game plan in for the past 2 weeks, and we've been able to, get after it in practice. A lot of guys are banged up, but at the end of the day, we have to get our work in. Going into a bye week before the actual game, Coach Reid does a great job of just challenging us to make sure that we don't miss a day. We don't miss a snap. We don't miss a rep. And sure enough, I think we're as ready as we've ever been this week.
They're not missing any time, and apparently they're performing really well. Chris Jones told me everyone on the team is doing their job so well that the scout team was even getting compliments from the coaching staff today, and he was like, can we just go win the Super Bowl before we give the scout team credit? Tyreek Hill saying that Patrick Mahomes was throwing absolute dots on the field. I always thought the word was darts, by the way. I thought dots was maybe like a Boston accent to say darts, but apparently, Laura, it's all about the dots, and Mahomes is looking sharp.
Yeah, Mahomes looks sharp a lot of the time, so that's good to hear for them. Thanks, Diana, and thanks, Sal. And let's go back, guys, to Week 12 when these two teams matched up, because if you're looking for an indicator of how a game might go, a lot of it could have to do with their previous matchup. And the Chiefs won this one by just 3 points, despite that monstrous first quarter by Tyreek Hill and the Chiefs offense. You don't want to base too much on this, right? It was a couple months ago, but there are some key indicators we want to point out. You need to know how the Chiefs used RPOs in that game before watching Sunday. So, Marcus, I want to go to you. When you look at the RPO offense, which player actually has the most impact for the Chiefs?
It's Travis Kelce because of the problems he causes everywhere, middle of the field, on the outside, when they line him up outside and find him one-on-one. But you look here at this example of the RPO, and they use him as an influencer for Tyreek Hill to get open. So look here, Patrick Mahomes finds Buffalo in a zone. Travis Kelce is lined up as the third man inside, and this whole eye discipline and Travis Kelce going to the sideline makes Edmonds and Poyer vacate their zone area, and Tyreek slips right behind them. This is all respect for Travis Kelce. Now, I'm telling my guys, stay in your zone and let's rally late to Travis Kelce as opposed to vacating the area and letting Tyreek Hill scorch you from the middle of the field. And we know how dynamic Tyreek is with the ball in his hand. But a lot of people talk about the talent on this offense. A lot of people talk about Tyreek and Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes. But the way they use those guys to open up windows for other guys to make plays is just one of the other things you have to defend against with the Chiefs.
Yeah, I love that thought process. You know, when we talk about Mahomes and the RPO, the Kansas City Chiefs teach him to be aggressive to the throw, right? So what's your mindset defensively of how to counter that? And the really thought process is you got to be slow to go. You got to really force the ball to get handed off as a defense. And I know that's counterintuitive to your instincts. But when you're that second-level defender, it's such a big deal of trying to play with that style of discipline. This is how you defend it. When you got the zone going away and you got those slants coming behind you, watch that middle linebacker right here. Naturally, you want to go towards the football, but really you want to go away. Defend the pass right away. Patrick Mahomes is looking right there, and that slant is coming. Force that ball to get handed off. Trust that defensive line will play, and then slow to go. Patience, and then explode with conviction towards the football and through that ball carrier. You know, defenders, yeah, you know it. Yo, explode with conviction. You know it.
With conviction.
Defenders
That's a
are
new
taught.
one.
Defenders are taught, you know this, run first, pass second.
Yeah.
You kind of have to go counterintuitive. You got to go pass first, run second. It's going to take a lot of discipline out of Tampa's defense.
A phrase you just said, not explode to conviction. This is a family-friendly show, but
Doozy.
aggressive to throw with respect to Patrick Mahomes, I think is really important when it comes to the Bucs and their ability to defend the RPO. Yeah. You might look at the Chiefs box score and say, oh, they only ran it 15, 16 times. Andy Reid called more runs.
Right.
Patrick just chose to throw, and why wouldn't he, right? Because if you play zone, Patrick he'll identify what the conflict defender is doing, and he'll make the right decision. If you play man, Tyreek Hill or Travis Kelce, they're going to beat you at the line.
Yeah.
He's going to make the right call. It's so hard to defend, and that's why I think you're right, Dan. If I'm the Bucs defense, I try to force the handoff as often as I can. Look, if you're a Bucs fan watching the Chiefs or a fan of any team, every time they hand the ball to Clyde Edwards-Helaire, that is a win. You were at home
100%.
saying, great, I love it when they run the ball. That is what you want.
I just think it's so hard because it's so different than what you've been taught your whole
I
life.
know.
100%.
Yeah.
You know, you've been taught your whole life as a defender is like, go towards the football, go
Right.
towards the football, and have that discipline of hang, and then go.
Yes.
But what you're saying is the ability to adjust your game plan. Like, this is what we lauded Bill Belichick about for years. The ability to play a different scheme, tailor to the offense that you need to stop. Todd Bowles is going to have to be very conscious of making sure his guys take away what the Chiefs want to do, as opposed to just playing normal general technique. They compromise you. That's the issue. So you gotta play a different style.
You know, I hear what you guys are saying, but it's just so interesting to me if we're sitting here saying that a weapon like Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who when healthy is so dynamic, we're saying, just hand the ball off to him, and that's what you want to happen.
Because it's similar to basketball. When Golden State played LeBron, they said, we're going to let him get his 45. but everybody else got to get stopped. We cannot allow. So Hilaire would be that guy in this case. Like, if he rushes for 150, I'm good with that, as long as it's not 450 through the air and 5 touchdowns.
Right.
So much more coming on this Super Bowl 55 matchup. We've got details on things that you should be watching all show long, and we'll be here tomorrow as well. But Commissioner Roger Goodell spoke today, addressed the big issue of diversity in head coaching in the NFL. Take a listen to what he said.
This issue and the importance of doing this better, considering policies to help us in this case. We'll have more discussions for sure, both individually and collectively when we can get together. But that doesn't stop us. We've been doing it on Zoom. We've been doing it individually. And the committee has been very active too, chaired by Art Rooney and several owners that are on that committee, and continuing to look, what are the changes we still need to make?
Adam Schefter with us as always. And Adam, you can hear in the commissioner's voice how much he wants this issue to be rectified. But what do you make of what he said today?
Well, everybody wants it rectified. If we go back to when the Rooney Rule was instituted back in 2003, there were 3 black head coaches at the time. And 18 years later, Laura, there are still 3 black head coaches at this time. And so the league, for all the measures that it's tried to put into place, has not gotten anywhere close to the results it wanted or intended. We have an offensive coordinator in this game, in Eric Bieniemy, who, right or wrong, has become the face of the lack of hires with a diversity standpoint. You have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in this game, where their defensive coordinator is Todd Bowles, their offensive coordinator is Byron Leftwich, and obviously there's great representation there. It is just not reflected in the head coaching ranks, and for all the work that the league has tried to do, clearly there's plenty more left to be done, because what the league has done so far just has not worked in terms of the amount of diverse hires that the league was hoping to have at the head coaching position.
Yeah, Adam, at the end of the day, this is on the owners to make these hires, and maybe more diversity needed there in the owner ranks to really make these changes.
Good point.
We got so much more coming on NFL Live from the Super Bowl. Don't miss the rest of this hour as we talk about this game full of offensive firepower, but how aggressive do Arians and Reed really need to be if they want to leave Raymond James with the Lombardi Trophy? We'll tell you. Plus, it's a clash of GOATs with Mahomes versus Brady, but also a clash of QB styles. What makes them so different yet so special?
Pedals, there is no pocket. What doesn't surprise you? You can do anything. You can do anything and everything.
If in doubt, go deep. That's my strategy. My mom's 95. We're flying her down with my brothers and sisters, doing everything we can to make sure that she is safe from COVID and has a great time at the Super Bowl.
In the event of a Super Bowl win, is there another cheeseburger waiting for you?
Yes, I need a double cheeseburger if that happens.
Wouldn't we all eat a double cheeseburger? Listen, I hope whoever wins the Super Bowl eats a lot of double cheeseburgers. 3 hours, goodness. 3 days, 2 hours, 11 minutes, and 32 seconds, 31 seconds? We're counting down to Super Bowl 55.
Here we go.
If it was 3 hours away, we'd all be like,
down here.
maybe actually the same amount of juice that we have there. That sailboat looked really cool as we welcome you back to NFL Live from the Super Bowl. And listen, Dan, a lot of times when we talk about teams needing to be aggressive in big moments, it's been a big thing on our show all year. We feel like teams should be more aggressive. When you think about this, is it okay for the Bucs to settle for a field goal early when you think about who's on the other side in Mahomes?
One. I'll give them one. And I don't want to say be aggressive, but you got to coach and play with urgency. Patrick Mahomes averages 32 points a game as a starter, right? So you got to go into this game with a very clear game plan of how you're going to do it. Okay, if we get down on our first drive and we're only in field goal range, fine. We will take it. That's the only one for the game. Then you really have to flip your mindset and go, the next time you pass the 40, it becomes 4-down territory. So second down, really go back to your first down play call sheet. Third down, go to your second down, and fourth down becomes third down, because you've got to know that 20's not going to cut it. You've got to understand who you're playing against and how many points are going to be needed. So I don't want to say aggressive, because I feel like that could be like a roller coaster ride, but you got to go in with the mindset coaching-wise of playing with urgency, because your players will feel that as well. But having a very clear plan and communicating that of how you're going to do it is a big part for BA in this Tampa Bay offense.
You know, Mina, people get really squirrely about the model of whether to go for it or not, right? But what does the model actually tell us about whether or not you should kick a field goal, whether you should go for it in certain spots?
You are not allowed to call me a nerd after that dance move you did at the very beginning of the show.
You're the actual nerd, Dan.
If you want to demonstrate for the viewers. Look. Oh, there it is. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Please.
Yep. All right. So, okay. Often people are watching the broadcast and they hear people say, well, the model, the numbers say you should go for it there. And nobody actually really knows what it means. So I'm going to explain sort of what it refers to. Teams have their respective models. We at ESPN have our model where we are looking at a team, where they are on the field, down, distance, what point in the game it is, all of those factors, and then weighing, okay, how does the win probability shift if we go for it here on fourth down or we punt? What is the difference? Is there an advantage to going for it? Here's what the model doesn't account for. The opponent who is lined up from you on the football field. And that's why, if I'm Tampa Bay, I'm even more aggressive than the model, not just because of how good Patrick Mahomes is, okay, in that opposing offense, but also your offense is pretty good too. In fact, you're better than the Chiefs. And when you have 2 yards to go to get a first down, the Chiefs are the worst run defense in the NFL. They allow first down rushes and 2 yards or less 82% of the time.
No matter the down, you're saying? No matter the down?
No matter the down.
Okay.
2 yards.
Wow.
82% of the time. If I'm Tampa, I run it there. And if they don't, I am furious.
Mina, listen, okay. All right. We give each other great advice on this show. I'm going to need you to go pray about how bad you feel about Sean McDermott not going for it on fourth down.
You know,
Because you're not over it yet.
I'm
She's
still
not asking
over it.
The
for
whole time
forgiveness,
she was talking just now, I thought about her being so mad at Sean McDermott, the head coach for the Bills, not going for it. But two, we have to keep aggressive in context, right? It's not just dropping back and throwing the ball 40, 50 yards downfield, which frustrated all of us at the beginning of the season about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Deep shots, making Tom Brady throw across the field outside the numbers, the pick six that you referenced earlier in the year. I went back and looked at the 2018 AFC Championship between the New England Patriots and the Kansas City Chiefs. And we've been talking about Tom Brady's imprint on this offense as the season has come along. It was a 15-play drive. Now, for everybody at home, usually offenses script the first 15 plays of the game, and it's really to create the defense to be on their heels. They want to kind of speed up your thought process, speed up your personnel change in and out. Aggressive when it comes to what you need to do against the Chiefs is you need to be aggressive in how you operate. Not the plays you call in how you operate. And to your point about that sense of urgency, we look at games all the time and we see teams get down by 21 or 28, and then they go to 2-minute drill, and then they start to mount a comeback. The mentality that the Bucs need to have is we want to control the football, we want to be aggressive, and we want to do what we do better than what the Chiefs do.
I'd throw in, they got to score 38. That should be their mindset. They got to score 38 to think that they have a realistic chance to win.
And by the way, that's possible, very possible, with the way that the Bucs have played. But either way, you're going up against a really talented Chiefs defense that's peaked at the right time. All right, guys, this was tweeted today by the Bucs. Your head coach could never. How about that, BA? He's got the hat rolling. We tried to convince Marcus to wear that hat, actually. That style hat here.
Glasses with them.
I got to have a cigar and a drink with it. I have to.
We are in the Cigar City, by the way. Tampa is Cigar City.
I had me a stogie last night on the balcony.
We can get you those sunglasses at a gas station.
Oh, my goodness. We're going to go buy those sunglasses. Ahead on NFL Live, the Chiefs' O-line has been absolutely decimated leading up to Super Bowl Sunday, but someone here thinks there's a simple way Mahomes can overcome this. That's next. Lightning won last season's Stanley Cup. Great time to be in a hammock. Great time to be a fan of any of these Tampa teams. Let's get back to Adam Schefter for our DraftKings Plays of the Day. Adam, give us a couple names that you're targeting on Sunday.
Well, Laura, the obvious ones, right? Tom Brady makes his living in Super Bowls, plays in Super Bowls in his dreams. You're playing with a quarterback in DraftKings, that would be an ideal play, right? Tom Brady in the Super Bowl would seem automatic. He's been on a roll this postseason. He loves eating up history, has a chance to eat up more on Sunday. And then, of course, Tyreek Hill, who the last time he played against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers caught about 1,000 yards worth of passes in the first quarter alone. Could have set a receiving record, was on fire and completely obliterated the Buccaneers secondary. You know they'll be looking out for him Sunday, but Tyreek Hill has big play potential every time. And for Tampa Bay to win this game, it's going to have to get a big performance out of its running backs, most notably Leonard Fournette. He came to Tampa Bay for an opportunity like this. The Buccaneers have used him well this postseason. Ronald Jones chips in. But if Tampa Bay is going to win this game, Fournette and Jones are going to have to play significant roles.
Yeah, remember Michael Pittman Sr. ran for 124 yards back in 2002, the Bucs' only Super Bowl win, so maybe Fournette can follow suit. I like your lineup suggestions. Thanks so much, Adam. Let's talk about a little more news related to the Chiefs. They are dealing with all kinds of issues on their offensive line. They'll be without their left tackle, Eric Fisher, Sunday. He tore his Achilles in the AFC Championship game. Gut-wrenching for him. Of course, he won't have a chance to compete in the ultimate game, but Jason Pierre-Paul apparently doesn't care who's playing across from him. Take a listen.
Wonder what your thoughts are on Mike Remmers, and when you face a backup like that, do you just go in expecting a bunch of more?
Man, I ain't even know who that was, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, but if this is the tackle that you're talking about,
yeah.
I mean, like I said, I don't too much care about it. You know, they got to figure that out, and I'm going to play some great football.
Honestly, I don't really care what his opinion is on anything. Like it's you know, every week that I've played in this league, I've never gone to the game thinking, hey, I wonder what this guy thinks of me. I don't care at all. It makes no difference to me. I'm just going out there to do my job.
I love it. We're trying to create some line beef there. By the way, Remmers actually
spectacular.
He looks like if you were to create an offensive lineman, that's what they look like.
Hey, first of all,
really fast. Yeah.
last time we're going to put a better beard than mine on TV.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Listen, sure everybody understand that.
We could maybe Photoshop his beard on yours and see if that improves things.
That was nice.
Mina,
he saw the Chiefs barber.
I mean, I'm on television with you daily, bro.
I knew we were getting a Chiefs barber joke in. Mina, when you think about the Chiefs O-line, it's not just about Fisher that they've lost. The issues are far beyond that. Just how serious is this for them?
It is wild how much change there's been on this Chiefs offensive line. I mean, just take a look. So before the season, Duvernay Tardif, who's a doctor, opts out to help fight COVID. Awesome for him. They get Kelechi Osemele, who looks great at the jump. They lose him early in the season. Mitchell Schwartz, who's like an Iron Man at right tackle, he gets hurt. And then finally, Eric Fisher in the AFC Championship. So if you look on the right side, the only offensive lineman who's starting in the same position as the center, Austin Ryder. And look, JPP might not know Mike Remmers is, but he has been a godsend for them this season, playing all across the line. So the question becomes, what are you going to do about it? You're Patrick Mahomes, you're Chiefs offense. Well, I'll try to tell you. I mean, we talked about the RPOs. Obviously, that's going to factor into it. Sure. The Chiefs do a lot of things horizontally that can compensate for a lack of protection, jet sweeps, screens. But it's also notable that Patrick Mahomes has had an incredible quick game this season. Marcus Spears and I were talking about it earlier, and I was saying to him, you know what, I feel like nobody's really given Patrick credit for how much he's developed that side of his game this year. Best QBR in the league when he passes the ball in 2 seconds or less. And that's going to happen a lot this weekend because that Bucs pass rush is terrifying.
Yeah, I would say this. For the Chiefs to win this football game, Patrick Mahomes has to play the best game he ever has as a pro. Okay, let me put this in context a little bit of why.
Okay.
This is why. No one has ever won the Super Bowl with both tackles as backups. Okay? Tampa Bay's got a top 5 offense and a top 5 defense in the NFL. They're the 4th team to go into the playoffs since 2007 to do that. 2 out of the 3 teams that have done it previously, top 5 offense, top 5 defense, have gone on to win the Super Bowl. There's one team that didn't. Do you happen to know who it was?
It's the 2012 Seattle Seahawks.
Okay, so you're talking about an insurmountable feeling. Then you got multiple backups on your offensive line. You know how many times you're supposed to win that game? 0. A big fat 0. Okay, so that's the challenge for Patrick Mahomes. You talked about the RPOs. So how much can Patrick control that defensive line, getting the ball out quickly? Can he play fast but not in a hurry? Can he play fast but not in a hurry? Can he not put the ball in harm's way too much early? We're talking about a defense that has created so many turnovers. They've got 41 points in the playoffs off turnovers. Right. Patrick Mahomes has been the best player in football for the last 3 years. To win the Super Bowl, he'll have to play his best game ever.
You know, if you're the Bucs D-line, Marcus, and we already heard what JPP said. He didn't care who's across from him no matter what the game is. So, yeah, you are licking your chops, right? How are you looking at this game?
Can we zoom in on this man's hands? Because
he's doing that to the hammock, too.
What we saying in the building is we got some fresh meat, man. We got to go out here and eat. Look, the bottom line is this. D linemen operate in two worlds, right? You either playing against really good offensive linemen and you gonna make your name in this game, or you have an opportunity what you call stat day, right? And for all intents and purposes, this is correlates to a stat day if 15 wasn't that quarterback. But I know what they're saying in that defensive line room, guys. If we're gonna win a Super Bowl, it's gonna be us. And never. I don't remember a time outside of the 2008 Super Bowl when the Giants beat the New England Patriots where I thought a D-line could win the game, right? Michael Strahan, O.C. Umenyiora, Justin Tuck, all of those guys. So when you look, and then too, like the national championship we played in at LSU, we felt we had a significant advantage over the offensive line for Oklahoma. That was the one distinct difference, and we won the game in that fashion. So that's what they're going to have to say.
3, 2, 1 to somebody makes a gif of you doing your hands like that. That's happening like
that's
ASAP.
How I do when I go to Chipotle.
It's a really nice way to wash your hands. The hands look nice and moisturized. We got more NFL Live coming your way. Stay tuned right here. We're going to talk about Super Bowl 55 and the motion featured on both sides of the offense. We'll tell you why it's different next.
Love motion.
Coming this Sunday on the special Super Bowl edition of NFL Countdown, we go one-on-one with Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady.
I still feel like I'm a teenage kid. Why do I still do it? Because I love doing it, because I love the sport and I love the game.
Plus, an all-access look inside the Chiefs' most creative play calls.
That 3 weeks off I had, I might have made up like 40 plays.
And Randy.
Enjoying the weather as it warms up, about 62 degrees right now. And these two teams actually share a common strength, and that is their usage of pre-snap motion. The Bucs and Chiefs rank 1 and 2 respectively in terms of most yards per play when utilizing motion this season. That's important. Tampa's motion has been critical in giving Tom Brady info as to whether he's facing man or zone coverage. Brady averages 8.9 yards per attempt with motion, 6.7 without it. So, Dan, both these teams have success using motion, but they actually use it very differently. Explain that to us.
No doubt. They've matched it really well to their team. Kind of like you and I matched our colors way better than they did with that yellow.
This is flawless.
He's been waiting to get that in all show long.
It's not even close.
Okay.
It's not close.
First of all, we'll start with the
motion.
Chiefs. The Chiefs use motion for impact. It's at the snap rather than pre-snap. They want to change the formation strength from 3-man side to a 2-man side. They want to get people moving one way and hand it off the other way. They want to create leverage. And then Tampa does it for information for Tom Brady. This is really the pre-snap motion where he's trying to gather what the defense is doing and who can I go and attack. So you're going to see Chris Godwin up top, right? That's the key to start this play. When he brings Godwin in motion on 3rd and 4, you're going to see Jair Alexander go with them. That's the number 1 corner. Brady knows, all right, you're in man-to-man coverage. I got press. Everybody's going to be matched up guy on a guy. Now Tom Brady's going to look out and be like, no, point to that linebacker. That linebacker hasn't moved. He doesn't have a responsibility. Offensive line, I want a clean pocket. I'm going to send you guys that way. While everybody else is going to have their person in man-to-man coverage, I'm going to send you guys to that left. So that blitzing linebacker who doesn't have any form of responsibility, he can't get to me. That's going to give me that clean pocket. And now I'm going to find the guy that I want to go pick on. Hitch route to the field against the starting corner. Now I don't love it. Tight end on an in route versus that safety breaking down. Don't love it. I just told you Godwin on the number 1 corner. Don't like it. The nickel corner. You're the weakest link against my number 1 receiver, Mike Evans. That's the guy that I want to go pick on. This is the information before the snap. That linebacker blitzes. He's picked up by an offensive lineman. Look at the pocket that I now get to create as Tom Brady sits there. And you want to talk about the ability to make the perfect throw because I know what you're in and you can't get to me and I can place the ball like that's a butterfly with sore feet landing over the top of Mike Evans. So that's the different way. It's like they want to gather the information before the snap and then he wants to kill you with it. And so it'll be really interesting to see how Kansas City tries to, as much as they can, counter that.
Mina, what the hell was that little compass on TV just now?
250 angle. I have no idea. It was a protractor.
You got to defer to Mina when stuff like that
happens. It looked like a
to
protractor
me. I was
to me.
confused as well.
It was a protractor.
No. Go ahead, Mina.
I just want to say, for our show in particular, it's like so gratifying to see the two teams in the Super Bowl be the teams that use motion the most because this show is like we were brought to you by motion. Like, I feel like Big Motion bought us out. Big Motion and Big Play Action. So here's my point. You talked a little bit about the benefits of motion in terms of manipulating defenders and then also gathering information. Another thing that I think will be really relevant in this game is as it pertains to Kansas City. is the way it allows them to overcome some of their deficiencies in the red zone. So 74% of Kansas City's red zone touchdowns involve some level of motion. And here's the disadvantage that I talked about. Kansas City, outside of Travis Kelce, they're tiny. I mean, like, that's a small group of receivers. Sammy Watkins is their biggest one, so they can't take advantage of size mismatches in the red zone. What they can take advantage of is speed mismatches. And what does motion do? It basically takes an already fast receiver and just cranks it up because it creates that moment of hesitation, and Kansas City does that so well.
Yeah, when you think about that cranking up, it already is something that you have to deal with, Marcus. As a defender, how do you adjust to motion pre-snap and even at the snap? Because it's all happening so fast.
Go to the damn beach and hope that somebody else can play it better than you can. Listen, this is number one. When Kansas City uses motion, it's to completely make you frantic defensively. It's to make you panic, and everybody just like it's a fire drill. The teams that can settle that down are the ones that usually have some semblance of success, even though Kansas City is just better at positions at that point. But it's leverage, the speed in which they destroy your leverage. Every defense that I've played on was formulated to funnel everything back to the meat of the defense, where everybody is pursuing from and coming from. But when Tyreek Hill or Mecole Hardman are coming across in jet sweep motion, the leverage is done. It's done. And let alone if they hand it off, that's when you see Myles Garrett having to track Mecole Hardman 30 yards down the field. So it's one, to mess with your brain, and two, the leverage is destroyed, which defenses live on making sure that the leverage is not.
And a pass to 10.
Oh, how did he pull that off?
The run, as I like to label it.
He's not out of bounds yet. He dives for the end zone. Touchdown!
When he jumped off one leg and kind of threw the ball.
Maybe the best play yet of Patrick Mahomes' career.
I think that play right there kind of symbolizes his magic.
You know, we were saying the other day that we feel like even throughout this season, we haven't shown enough highlight plays of Patrick Mahomes because he's so magical. But then you think about in his young career, what he's accomplished, Mina, and then Tom Brady on the other side, who is unequivocally the GOAT, right? So, but when you look at their overall skill sets and how they play, they're actually very, very different.
Well, Laura, we've got some charts that illustrate that. I'm so happy. Okay, our stats and info people put together some drop back scatter plots. They charted every drop back for both quarterbacks. And if you were an alien landing on Earth who didn't watch a single down of football this season, you would be able to tell the difference. So first, it's all scattered. Okay, so Patrick Mahomes' scatter plot. These are every single one of those dots, Marcus, is one of his dropbacks this year. And it looks like on the show MTV Room Raiders when they would take the black light and go over the bed. Is that too gross? I'm sorry. Anyways, he throws the ball all over the field is the point. Okay, from both sides, notably. Let's see Tom Brady's. And this is going to look very different. As you can see, it's it's a little bit different. So Tom Brady does not throw the ball all over the field, but he's equally dangerous. And what I think is so fascinating when you look at these charts is it shows you why defenses have to defend them so differently, or how best to exploit their tendencies. With regards to Brady, you want to get interior pressure, which of course has been the book on him all of these years. It's going to be incumbent upon Chris Jones to do so, because if you flush him outside the pocket, you're fine. Whereas with Patrick Mahomes, it's the opposite. You want those edge rushers to contain him, because outside the pocket, he's a threat. Ideally, you'd like him not only contained, but drifting backwards, Marcus.
I officially love scatter plots. I love him.
Didn't take much.
And whatever that shoulder thing you did before you start talking about it. Listen.
Try to just do something for me.
We've talked about Kansas City motion. We've talked about Patrick Mahomes' ability to throw in tight windows.
Yeah.
The one thing we don't talk about enough that has shown up in their playoff runs is his ability to move.
Yeah.
Like, and create plays off schedule. And I think there have been some devastating plays that Patrick Mahomes has made with his feet, not only throughout the season, but throughout the playoffs. And he's comfortable in this area. Watch how he manipulates this defensive line, right? This is good pressure from this side. These guys are close. The pocket is closing. He spins out.
Okay,
now the space is created. Now he's understanding that, this is what we asked Aaron Rodgers to do in the NFC Championship. And then he gets gone. But this is, like, for people at home, it's not as simple as Patrick Mahomes dropping back, seeing a spot, and then running to the open field.
Yeah.
It's actually setting that up.
Yeah.
He set that up while looking downfield. And the dilemma you have as a defense is because he's so prolific with his arm, you become in no man's land once he breaks the normal structure of a play. Do I come up? If I'm Devin White and Levante David, do I come up and pursue?
Right.
Or am I leaving Travis Kelce or Tyreek Hill wide open right behind me?
Yeah.
And that's the dilemma you have. But people don't talk about the effectiveness of his mobility enough as to why he's thought of as the GOAT as well.
What quarterback is going to frustrate the defense the most to get them off their game plan? Think about it. Tom Brady's like going to catch the ball and get it out of his hands, right? So as a defense, you're like, hang back, play discipline, and always rush the passer, right? And so at some point, Tom's going to get that ball out so quickly that the defensive line is like, man, I'm not going to rush so fast or so hard this play because the ball's coming out. Or the defender, secondary-wise, is going to get a little too aggressive. When's that going to happen? Or Patrick Mahomes creates a little bit early on, and as a defense, you got to plaster your guys and stay true to your rush lane, right? And so maybe it doesn't work early on, but it takes one. What defensive lineman is going to get frustrated to get out of his rush lane? Or that plastered coverage is going to get up because he's ran for 3 third downs and you're going to leave that 70-yard bomb over your head. If I'm those quarterbacks, I'm going, okay, at what moment am I going to catch you playing off your game plan, undisciplined, and really look for the kill shot?
Well, it takes one.
It does. And Mina, really fast, so much of this is about who's going to adjust in game, too. I realize that's simple, but specifically with these two teams, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw that in week 12. The Bucs took half the game, or certainly the first quarter, to make the necessary adjustments with Carlton Davis and Tyreek Hill. And you're going to see the same thing this week. We can't assume they're going to come out with the same game plans they did back in December. And it's going to be incumbent on these defensive coordinators who are very, very good to make us those adjustments.
Shout out to Next Gen Stats, by the way, for the scatter plots. We loved them, if you couldn't tell.
Hey, listen.
Time for one more thing before we go. And for this, it's all about Frank Clark talking about Tom Brady. Take a listen.
For him to be able to move his shoulders like that still is quite amazing. Me and Chris Jones talk about it all the time. I think Chris missed the sack because he like shimmied them shoulders a certain kind of way. Chris completely missed them. And he was like, man, I don't know how I missed Tom Brady. It's like nothing against him, but he's not an escape artist. But it's like, man, he just as good. Honestly, sometimes he's just as good as Deshaun Watson.
Oh, wow.
Whoa. Oh, somebody else can move the shoulders.
Can he?
You know,
eyes closed.
Dan, try to dance with yourself. Try to get it in sync. Oh wait, no, you're not. By the way, Mina, that's not a shimmy. Like a shimmy is. Marcus, show us a shimmy because you can shimmy better than the rest of us.
Just teach me how to Dougie. Teach me how to Dougie.
My
You have a nice rhythm going.
It's like you're a dad.
That was
like
So
you're my dad.
upsetting. All right, we'll see you tomorrow on NFL Live for the Super Bowl. Have a great